Hey Gemini, your March tarot reading is ready. I'm Eleanor. Welcome to Pink Pearl Tarot. I'm trying a new layout. I have specific questions. They're time-stamped in the description, so you can go ahead and check ahead. Go to the ones that are the most relevant to you. And if there's something more relevant that you would want me to ask, go ahead and put that in the comments, and I'll consider swapping them out for next month. So for your theme, you have hope. And for your affirmation, you have when life knocks you down, get back up and say you hit like a bitch. I love that. I'm sorry the lighting is not good. I try to film during the day, but I've been working so much it's just not possible. So I'm doing the best I can. So your overarching message with hope and that affirmation. Hope is not the soft, naive, wishful thinking that it's sometimes thought to be. It's about perseverance and grit and defiance. This month, you're tapping into your most badass well of determination to fight the good fight for something that you feel is worth it. Worth it because of hope. So this is not the time to give up. Whatever it is that you're fighting for, keep getting back up, just like Captain Marvel, okay? So for your first card, you have where to look for that hope. Where's that silver lining? And you have the Magician, okay. So this is all about your power. This is not a passive hope. Like, oh, I sure hope something changes or something saves the day or things turn around. It's faith. The faith that you're called to have is the faith in yourself, that you have what it takes to either survive it or change it, whatever that is. You can rise again in hope because you're smart enough to figure out a plan. You can rise again in hope because you're fearless, or if you have fear, you're going to do it anyway because it's necessary. It has to be done. You can rise again in hope because you're physically strong and capable, and you can rise again in hope because you're loved and you love and are driven by love. I think this image of a soft, naive hope is like the olden days woman staring at the distance, waiting for the cavalry to come in and some guy on a horse to come save the day. Baby, you are the cavalry. You're the badass to hinge your hope on. Okay? So, the second question is where you will see the most change. Oh, you have the sun, and that's a beautiful sun card too. So what this means, if this is the most positive card in the deck, the sun sheds light on every aspect of your life. And so it's not isolated to one area that will change the most. But in March, we do spring forward on the clock, as well as the days, they start to get longer. So you will be receiving more sunlight. And I'm not trying to interpret the card literally, but the effects of the longer days and the warmer temps do start to lift the dampening of energy and mood that can set in over the winter. So what's changing is your outlook in general. Everything feels kind of brighter, more loving, warmer, lighter, and your sense of well-being can increase. There's just a more positive glow to everything in general in March. If there is an area in particular that's affected, it's affected by some sort of enlightenment that you might have in that area. So for your biggest obstacle, you have the Seven of Swords. Okay, so there's two things here. It could be one or both. Take what resonates for you. First off, you might not want to share everything. Not everything has to be said. Not everything you do has to be seen. So this can be the challenge of like withdrawing from social media and that feeling of like, well, if it's not on Facebook, did it really happen? It could be an obstacle to try to fly a little bit more under the radar than usual. It could slow you down and you might have to be more conscientious and aware, or detaching a little bit from the grid. You have to come off of autopilot to do that. Now the other thing is the obstacle of trying to work with incomplete information. You might be only getting one side of a story or someone's highly curated version of the truth, or there could be well-intentioned but faulty communication, and so you're operating with partial facts. So just try to improve the quality of your questions if you can't defer making decisions until this energy is passed. So for the fourth thing I've asked, what's the best part about March? What's the best thing about the month? And you have the King of Wands. Perfect. Badass. Okay. So anything that you set your mind to, you can do. When you're showing up as the King of Wands, your focus will be unshakable. You will have the energy to follow through on the things that you start. Your motivation can be at an all-time high because you're driven by purpose. And this can also indicate a healthy sex drive, elevated athletic performance, increased charisma. It's like being the it person this month. So for your influence and impact on others, you have judgment. Ooh, I like that. Only the King of Wands could wake people up like this. You're setting an example that interrupts and disrupts people's autopilot or trance-like state that they could have fallen into. Something about how you're showing up makes people realize that they've been sleepwalking in some way. Your example is like activating other people, activating fires inside of other people. I don't know if any of you, you might be not old enough to know, but does anyone remember the original Crow movie? When Darla has her encounter with Eric, and the next morning she's all trying to be a good mom, and she's cooking, and the kid's like, "What's gotten into you?" And she goes, "Well, someone just kind of woke me up, that's all." So you're serving as some kind of wake-up call. So for what opportunities you should be looking for, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. So look for opportunities to master and hone your craft. I know the phrase practice makes perfect has its flaws. Perfection isn't a thing, but that's still sort of the energy of what this is saying. I get that opportunities for repetition can sound boring in a way, but imagine being the best of the best at what you do. The best of the best didn't come out of the box that way. They put in their 10,000 hours, as Malcolm Gladwell puts it. Now, for a few of you, this is talking about work hours and to get while the getting's good for overtime, or at least getting all of your hours to maximize your paycheck in case that's a resource that like ebbs and flows. Like if there's like slow times coming, get while the getting's good. This is a great time for it too, because with the Sun and that King of Wands, it might be one of the rare times when you're actually mentally and physically up for it. So where you will find the most support, you have the Six of Swords. So people that are removed from the situation. If you need a listening ear, if you need to feel like you're supported by a person or to get reassurance, peace of mind, look to someone who is not involved at all. Or you might find it beneficial to routinely remove yourself from the situation that keeps elevating your blood pressure. And this doesn't have to be job related, but I'm just going to use it as an illustration. It could apply to anything, but it's like being off the clock when you're off the clock. Leave that shit at the door. Let the frustration wash down the drain when you take a shower. Allow yourself to not be in the situation when you are not physically in the situation, if that makes any sense. Now for your self-care directive, what are they prescribing for self-care? You have the Moon. So shadow work. I almost heard a little womp womp when I saw that, because it's everyone's favorite. Confronting a fear, shedding light on it, meeting it where it's at, thanking it for its service, and then assuring it you've got the assignment from here, because that's where all that comes from. Being integrated is what makes you indomitable, especially if you have any unhealed stuff that tries to keep you down when you're down, that makes it difficult to get back up and try again by convincing you that there's no point. For right now, anyway, that's wrong. That voice is wrong. I mean, yes, you got to know when to cut your losses and bow out of a fight, but this month ain't it. You can do this work by journaling. You can do it with a trusted professional. You can do it by dream analysis. Whatever floats your boat, Gemini. This is a very interesting month. Much love, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.